So it was a crazy game for Tennessee as they ended up forcing overtime to end up winning the game. And of course, there are some questionable calls that were made in that game. And we also got new rankings in. And of course, if y'all been if y'all have watched the previous Vols videos we've done, you already know we weren't supposed to talk about this guy, but we got to. So, yeah. Um, yeah, welcome back to the All Sports Pass. My name's Eli. We got Max here. Um, and welcome back to another video. We got a lot to talk about. But before we get into this, you already know I got to start off with the verse of the day. And today's verse comes from Psalm 119, 133, and it says, "Direct my footsteps according to your word. Let no sin rule over me." And before we get in this video, leave a like, subscribe for more college football content. Without further ado, let's begin. So basically, like I'm gonna be honest, like I was actually at work when the game started, and so I was basically keeping up like a little bit. And when I saw like that muffed punt, that ended up causing Mississippi State to score, go on the board 7-3, and then Tennessee ends up going down the field to put three on the board through a field goal, and then of course we also talk about the Colton Hood um, fumble, and that was returned for a touchdown. So that's the other thing about that. Seemed like they were getting off to a hot start, and yeah. So let's see how they were getting off to a hot start, which they were. But the problem is the defense. Like the defense, and I understand it's a road game. Road games are tough, but the defense did not look like the defense that I saw them like we've seen the last few weeks for Tennessee. That just I just feel like the defense still needs a little bit of work. And I understand you still have Dramond and Ricky out, but the thing about it is you got to try to find a way to work without them because you kind of have to just move up in everything. Like these guys got to step up in order to win games, and that's just all I got to say on that one. Um, but however, since like, and you watched the full game, right?
No.
Okay. I was wondering because like I say, I wasn't really able to watch the whole first quarter, but I ended up, of course, seeing the clips and all, and of course, Tennessee scores 10 in that quarter, and with the fact that Tennessee is able to get on the board, and then Colton Hood with the 23-yard if it's a fumble, I meant to say interception return, my bad. Um, I was saying which we'll actually talk about here later. Sorry, that fumble still got me has still got me what's the word hyped up. Yeah, because and I'll explain why here in a minute, but it was a Colton Hood interception that was a pick six, and then of course Mississippi State gets on the. And of course, Tennessee leads 10-0. I'm sorry, 10-7 to end the half. I'm sorry, end the first quarter. And then second quarter, Tennessee gives up a touchdown to Mississippi State. Mississippi State kicks a field goal, and then Chris Brazzell gets a touchdown. Tennessee ties it up. They go into halftime. Third quarter, Tennessee gets a field goal, make it 20-17. And am I sounding funny? I was wondering because sorry, it's allergy season up here, so I sometimes have some allergy like symptoms a little bit. So yeah, yeah, and then of course, where was I? Oh yeah, the Max Gilbert field goal to make it 20-17, and then Mississippi State gets a touchdown, makes it 24-20. Tennessee, like we mentioned here, the Joshua Joseph's 41-yard fumble return, and I have to say, the thing about it is this is Mississippi State actually went for a fake punt on that one. They converted. Next play, Joshua Josephs, um, like Mississippi State fumbles. Hey, man, that Michigan pennant behind you is really throwing me off. um, like come on, man, we have it. We don't play Michigan. um, yeah, and then the 41-yard fumble return. And all I have to say is karma because they attempted a fake punt, converted. Next play, quarterback shaping fumbles and ends up Joshua Joseph scoops it up for the score, and then of course, Mississippi State kicks a field goal. They score a touchdown, and then Joey Aguilar runs it in to tie it up, and we go into overtime. Deshaun Bishop, first play in overtime, gets a 25-yard run, put the Vols up 41-34, and they got close. And I'll say this: the Vols on defense, like this is part of the reason why I say the Vols need to step up a bit on defense because it was too close. Like they literally, if you're wondering, Max just reacted to his homies in the group chat.
Yeah.
Hey, I guess unexpected shout out to the homies. Yeah, so yeah, and then Mississippi State ends up, whatchamacallit, getting to like the they get up to like so far to the end zone, but I'm sorry, so close. I mean, man, you could tell that this week's been awful. I'm scrambling like crazy, man. But like they get close to the end zone, and then Tennessee gets a 4th down stop to win the game. And I was on the edge of my seat for that whole overtime. I was here with it. I was here with it. I was basically praying, I was like basically begging, saying, please, let's just win the game. And yeah. So final stats here that we're going to talk about. Of course, this was not Aguilar's best game. I just feel like the passing game just did not do too well. And like we mentioned, of course, Aguilar going 24 of 40 for 335 yards, 1 touchdown thrown, 2 interceptions. He also gets a rushing touchdown. And of course, Deshaun Bishop gets that touchdown. And really, the thing about that is, of course, like you also have Brazel getting a touchdown. And yeah, so that's basically it. And, you have a pick six for a touchdown. You get a fumble recovery for a touchdown. And yeah, and then Arion Carter, man, he is amazing. Guess how many tackles he had this game? 17.
6, 7.
What?
Like 6, 7.
No, dude, we can't say that here, bro. YouTube, please do not demonetize me. It's not like we're being monetized anyway, but you get the point. Speaking of that, take a little interruption here. Guys, we are 15 subscribers away from 1,000 at the posting of this video. And hey, if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? We'd love to have you a part of the ASP family. So, hey, you know what to do. Go ahead, click the big red button down below, and be a part of the ASP family. All right, now we can continue. So Arion Carter gets 17 total tackles. And Andre Turrentine gets 11. Joshua Josephs gets 9, along with that fumble recovery for a touchdown. So, yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. Well, I'm sorry. Well, I'm saying. I bet y'all can tell it's been a long week for me. That's basically I think that these three are basically But the defense is stepping up when it needs to, but they need to be better, basically, is what I'm saying, And we get a chance, Tennessee's going into their bye week, and they have a chance, to rest up before they come back home to play Arkansas. So, yeah. And that's all I got. You got anything? All right. Now, of course, we're going to move on to questionable calls, basically. Only for this game right here. Because the thing about it is, we're talking about a ref call. We're also going to talk about an announcer call. First off, we're going to go on the announcer. Mississippi State attempts a field goal, goes 20 yards to the right, and he says, "It's good." What a leg on that kid. And then he ends up catching it and says, "Oh, my mistake." I'm like, dude, I understand if it was I understand if it was I understand if it's a little bit to the right, because it can be hard to tell a little bit. But if it's 20 yards to the right, how are you gonna say it's good? That's just what I think. And I understand we make mistakes, but the thing about it is you literally have the best view of the game. How are you gonna say a kick 20 yards to the right is good? And the other one is an offensive pass interference call that wiped a touchdown off the board for Tennessee. Of course, that was one of the worst calls I've ever seen. The SEC refs, we've known for a while that they're a center of controversy, but you can't make this up. I mean, they literally, of course, now I understand the hand contact, but Brazel did not push off. And now I'd understand if the receiver, if you see his arms extended like that's where, of course, okay, it would have been a pass interference. But literally, just a normal hand contact trying to create separation, which you can do a little bit. You just can't push your opponent down. But Brazel, that wiped off a touchdown for them. And I'm going to be honest, that call, I really think the refs honestly need to keep up. The SEC refs, honestly, from which I can't say, but basically, someone told me this: the SEC refs need to get their, what, together, and I can't agree more. That's just all I gotta say. And the last thing I'm going to call is this, and as much as I'm a Tennessee fan, as much as I like Josh Heupel, what is he doing? Literally, he has 3 timeouts. He's basically trying to get in the field goal range to just hit a walk-off field goal for the win. He ends up wasting all that time with all those timeouts. That's straight up Lions-Bears 2024 Thanksgiving Day right there. What are you doing, Josh? And then you end up, you're not even in range for a field goal, so you have to throw a Hail Mary, which it wouldn't have mattered anyway because it was short. And of course, now they're lucky it wasn't intercepted. But the thing about it is, if Tennessee would have lost this game, Josh Heupel would have been under some controversy because of the fact that, he did not call those 2 timeouts. They're there for a reason, Josh. So the thing about it is, I understand if there's a miscommunication, because don't get me wrong, Mississippi State, in my opinion, it's a pretty tough place to play. They got cowbells. But the thing about it is, if there's miscommunication saying you don't have if there's miscommunication maybe going into the headset or something, or say, hey, you don't have any timeouts or something, or a miscommunications where he ends up having 2 of them, you just never know. But I don't know what was going on in his mind right there, because they could have got in range to win the game and not even have to go to overtime. And I just am thinking, what are you doing? So yeah, and also I'm scared. What are your thoughts on that? Because yeah,
Like, I think Josh Heupel is kind of like Dan Campbell sometimes, just like way too aggressive.
yeah. But the thing about it is, how can you be aggressive when there's literally like when you literally have timeouts and literally are like, and you need to use them. Like basically, you take a timeout, you advance the ball a little bit, you're in field goal range. Like that's really it. And like the thing about it is like, what on earth? Like if you're Josh Heupel in that situation, like what on earth are you just saying? Like, of course, you want to be aggressive. It's football. It's an aggressive sport. But for Heupel, come on. You've been coaching here for like 4 or 5 seasons now.
5 seasons,
Yeah,
2021.
yeah. So, hey, for some reason in my mind, I keep on thinking like, of course, like for example, 21
Yeah,
to 22 is one, and then 22 to 21 to 23 is two. Like that. That's just my mindset. I don't know why.
yeah.
Um,
Then the guy was actually got the first game he coached.
yeah, yeah. Wasn't that like against Bowling Green? It's been a long time. I think it was.
He beat Bowling Green go Ball State.
No, it was Bowling Green because
Yeah,
Hooker started against Ball State. So yeah, that was Bowling Green.
yeah.
But the thing about it is, like remember 2021, he goes 7-6. Of course, with that controversial loss to Purdue in that bowl. Then he ends up. Everyone remembers how 2022 goes. Has a decent 2023, a pretty good 2024, considering the fact that and we're going to talk about this guy here in a minute. Just Tennessee didn't even have a quarterback. Like, because all they did was basically just run with Dylan Sampson the whole time. And then now, like, he has a good game. Like, now, it was a loss against Georgia, but he was able to keep it close. And now, against the second Bulldog team you face, you about choke. Like, that's just what I'm thinking. Like, do you think that Tennessee, if they're going to get better on the road, they need to figure some things out? Because, hey, like, if they're serious, like, and like I mentioned before, I'll put Tennessee against anybody. But if they're seriously going to go on the road, they got to learn to play on the road. Because here, let me tell you some of the opponents they got to play on the road this year. Bama, Kentucky, Florida. Yeah. And of course, now I personally think that it's going to be a close game between Kentucky, because usually whenever Tennessee goes on the road to play Kentucky, it's usually a close game. But if you want to go down to Tuscaloosa and make a statement, you got to change some things. And of course, I'm not putting the Florida thing, because Florida, like, we don't know what kind of Gator team we're going to get. Because like they were expected to basically be a tougher team than they are. I mean, but then of course they had that home loss to USF, and then they lose to LSU. So you don't really know what's going to happen there. But if you're going to straight up go down on the road and expect to win, things have got to change. Like, you got to try to take down the crowd. Like, I mean, like, like, shut up the crowd. I mean, you got to you know you got to get more prepared, because I feel like Tennessee was underestimating Mississippi State, and I personally did as well. But I feel like the players underestimated Mississippi State, and that's just what I have to say. Like, they can't keep going to these games underestimating opponents. Is all I got to say. So yeah, what are your thoughts on them on the road?
No, no, because I might miss that Alabama game since they'll be at Talladega that weekend. Probably get the concert there, but I don't know. After seeing how Bama played Georgia, like I don't Big Ten she has the team to beat them this year.
Well, you just never know though, because here's the thing. Like the thing about it is, you got to realize, and I actually did some research here. Like, they don't consider it a rivalry, but I do, because like of the history. Um, Bama actually has always had Georgia's number. Like matter of fact, Bama, uh, including last night's game, leads the series 45-26. So that they basically always had Georgia's number. So I feel like, and then of course you saw it happen last year. They beat Georgia. They go down to Vanderbilt and lose. They barely beat South Carolina at home. The thing about it is this, is though, it's like, the thing about it is when we talk about, Bama and Georgia, it's like I said before, like I said just now, they've always had Georgia's number. Like you can always tell by the series results with the fact that Bama and Georgia, Bama leads that series like by a pretty big margin. But I do think this though, if you remember 2023, Tennessee goes down to Bama, nearly actually gets on like a 21-3 start, I believe. And then the SEC refs, which also, like we said, they need to get their crap together. That's what lost them the game, in my opinion. So we start going on here. We start to see more and more of what Tennessee is capable of. But, however, I think, if Tennessee can play anybody in the SEC, like, I think it's going to be a close game, though. That's just what I think. Because Tennessee, they've proven they can win a road game, but can they win another? That's the thing about it. All right. So that's going to end my thoughts on that one. So what do you think?
I feel like Alabama is like the only team KB Smart struggles with. Like
Yeah.
each year.
Yeah, here's the thing. I personally think this, that, I got scared a little bit when it was last year and Georgia was like, I don't remember what ranking they were. I think they were number 1. I could be wrong. Yeah, I could be wrong. It's been a year. But they end up, just beating them, and then they end up having a season collapse. And I just think that for Tennessee, well, I'm sorry, for that, it's just pretty clear that Alabama's always had Georgia's number. Like, matter of fact, winning like 9 of the last 10 prior to the game last night, like, and of course having 10 out of 11 after the game. So that really just comes to show that Alabama and Georgia, Bama's just always had their number. So, yeah. All right. And now it's probably time for everyone's favorite segment. We weren't going to talk about him, but we got to. Nico Iamaleava and UCLA, another loss. And UCLA played Northwestern at Northwestern, lost 17-14. The thing about it, though, is Northwestern was putting points on them. And for Northwestern, the thing about it is, keep in mind this. They were up 17-0 at one point. UCLA ends up trying to come back. And, yeah, that just ends up not, like, and then they end up just not winning. But the thing about it is this. We take a look at Northwestern, and I'm sorry if we have any Northwestern fans watching this. The thing about it is Northwestern has not been, like, as competitive as they have been, I want to say, like, a while. And for that, I personally think that, UCLA, like, should have at least won this game by a field goal, but they didn't. And Here are the passing yards. Nico, 180 passing yards, goes 19 and 27 for 1 touchdown. He also leads the team in rushing yards with 14 carries for 65 yards. So, yeah. And for UCLA, they're going to have to figure something out they won't try. And, hey, they're going to have a big test for them next week because guess who they play? Penn State at home. So, yeah. All right. Your thoughts on Nico?
When he does win his first game, I'm gonna wear my Nico jersey, gonna podcast.
Are you being serious?
Yeah,
Well,
I
hey,
s-
you
still have it.
hey, please tell me you didn't put "I'm a leave" on it.
I didn't.
I tell you what, imagine this: like you do that, and you put "I'm a leave," and then like just put like duct tape on it or something. Just put "I'm a leave" in Sharpie. I'm a leave, and then you just put like another piece of duct tape on there saying for less money, for for um for my dad, things like that. Yeah, like, and I'm not saying like it's just I understand if you transfer out for family stuff, but the thing about it is his dad was the reason why he transferred because his dad said to demanded Josh Heupel to give Nico $4 million, even though he's already made like 4 million in his 2 seasons. Like they paid him 2 million to sit on the bench. So yeah, but hey, um, I will say this though, and I hope that we stay this way. I don't know if UCLA can also win a game because their next schedule is a bit tough. So yeah, um, so but here's the thing though. The thing about it is this: if they win their first game, you better get that Nico jersey out. Yeah. All right. Now we're gonna end it off with the rankings. So really, some of these rankings I do not agree with. I'm just gonna put that straight. Um, of course, I do agree with these though. Like Ohio State number one, of course. Like I agree with that. And I will say this: I'm hoping that, and I'm just hoping that Michigan somehow goes unranked, just for this reason, just so they can, because they host the game this year, and if they can win against Ohio State, that should basically drop them out. I think, because you know what happened last year. Yeah. And then you also, but yeah, and then you have Oregon ranked second, Miami third, Ole Miss fourth, following their win over, I'm sorry, what was that signal you were doing?
The U for my
Oh,
heart.
yeah, I thought you were telling me to move my camera or something. Yeah, but and then Ole Miss and Oklahoma ranked at 5, which I'll be honest, I did not expect them to do as good as I thought they would have. But the thing about it is, you gotta tell you, look, 35-3 win over Illinois State, SCS, 24-13 win over Michigan, who was back then 15, 42-3 win over Temple, a 24-17 win over Auburn, which I'm gonna be honest, winning by a touchdown against another ranked opponent, and of course Auburn gets unranked after that. I really do not believe that is a really impressive to me. Like I really do not think they need to be ranked number 5. That's just what I think. Um, Now I host Kent State next week, and then of course you go to the Red River rivalry, which we should probably do a special prediction on that one. I don't know. Actually, I don't even know if we're covering that. I don't know if we're even covering the Vols game that week. I could be wrong. No, we're not. Yes, they play Arkansas on the same day. So yeah. Um, so that basically means, of course, that yeah. So we'll still have to see what Oklahoma's made of by the time they come into Knoxville. But I do think, of course, that Red River rivalry could also change a lot of things too. So yeah. Then of course you have Texas A&M ranked 6. Penn State drops down to 7th following the loss to Oregon. And then you have Indiana at 8, Texas 9. Somehow Texas gained a spot. And the thing about it is, like, Texas, of course, they gained a spot after their last game, which was last week, a 55-0 win against Sam Houston. On their bye week, they move up to 5. What is the committee thinking? Like, they played nobody on the bye week.
Gets that Arch Manning effect.
Exactly. Here's the thing. Look, I'm not even like, don't get me wrong. Arch Manning, I'm pretty sure, is a good player. But I don't think that he could live up to the pressure of like, and I'm not saying this to be mean or anything. I don't think he could live up to the pressure because, like, you know, the thing about it is, you know, I understand, you know, you're part of the Manning family. You're playing football. You, like, the pressure about that is that, you know, of course, you have such name recognition that everybody's counting on you, really. That's just what I think, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then, of course, and then now we go into the top 10. Alabama, of course, jump 7 spots, which I'm going to be honest, I think that's a bit overranking, really. Because, don't get me wrong, they did defeat Georgia, but it was only by, like, a field goal, like, by only 3 points, which is not much. So that's just what I think. And, of course, Texas Tech moves up 1. Georgia drops down 7 spots to 12. LSU drops down 9 spots to 13. And you have Iowa State 14, Tennessee 15, and this one's a shocker. Vanderbilt 16. It looks like Pavia may actually. It looks like his trash talking's paying off for now. So yeah, and then Georgia Tech 17, FSU 18, following that double overtime loss to Virginia, and of course field storming, which we'll actually mention here in a minute. Missouri 19, Michigan 20th, Notre Dame 21, Illinois 22, BYU 23, Virginia, of course, gets in the rankings, and Arizona State gets into the rankings. So, yeah. And the field storming I want to talk about is this. I understand you're excited after, like, an upset win that you stormed the field. But Virginia fans, the way they stormed it, there's basically like a receiver still down in the end zone, which was Score White, and I couldn't tell if he got like trampled or not, but it looked like he did. But the thing about it is, you know, like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for field storming. I really am. But if it's going to come down to that, like to where you basically don't wait until like you give them time to run off the field, you're basically putting them in it. You're putting the players and your fellow fans in a dangerous situation.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Squirrel White.
Dude, buddy, he ain't dead.
No, but he died. No, he got trampled on.
Yeah. Oh, did you also see that X post actually?
Yeah.
I was about to call and say, buddy, he ain't dead. Yeah, I was like, now I will say this though, that so I say I am for field storming, but if you're gonna seriously basically do it to where you're about to trample somebody, don't just wait till they get off the field. Because what would have happened if there was and the way they did it on the record time, basically. Also, there's also another thing too. What if there was a flag on the play that basically would have gave Florida State like another chance, and it probably would have moved them closer, because I believe that's like a 15-yard penalty or something. Well, I could be wrong. It hasn't happened in a long time. That's why I'm saying that. You know,
Yeah.
I believe last time that happened was like a BYU game, and I forget who they played. I could be wrong. I'll search up after this video, but yeah. So yeah. All right. There anything you want to add before we end it? All right, that's going to do it for tonight's video, guys. Y'all like this video, give it a like, subscribe for more college football content. With that being said, God bless and have a good night.